We are back. Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-bum. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Ba-da-dow, dow, 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 dow. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. I'm pretty sure I have a an extra loot crate to open. It's just a regular loot box. That's wild for that long. What was the mythic skin I wanted to get? I think it was just upgrades to that one. Kelvin Lamb, welcome, welcome. Oh, my neck. Hope everyone's doing amazing. OWCS is gonna start at like 1. So make sure y'all have drops enabled and you can get your goodies over there. Fred, what's good?
What's up, my boy?
How are we doing? We got Tink Pokemon Com Day today, which I'm ecstatic about.
Doing great, man. How are you?
Very, very, very well. Thank you so much, Trin. Cut off. Welcome, welcome. I think it's finally started. Yeah, it is. Sick. Bro, I'll be 10 million with you guys. I unironically am so back into this. It's not even funny.
Like the new Lobster Fest Duo, new Lobster Fest Boil, and create your own lobster lover's dream.
with new crispy dragon teriyaki lobster or new lobster pasta au gratin. In other words, lobster, lobster, lobster.
I fucking
I did for about an hour, but when I get back, I'll be here the rest of the day.
Only
Bet.
available for a limited
I
time.
might be off onto Twitch doing the Pokemon Go event, but sometime around 4 or 5 I'll be back officially.
Bet.
I'm curious if okay, yeah, it's starting right now. So if you need these 15 hours like I do, make sure to pop in on Twitch to get drops enabled. Alright, well, we have a little bit of time. Huh. Ooh. Shay, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a splendid Saturday. I'll definitely check the COD store here in a minute because there's a chance with how close it is to dropping the 1911 that we'll get the new pack. Redhead 0411, welcome, welcome. Ooh. I just realized I haven't had my Red Bull yet today. That the answer.
Hi.
What's up, buddy? Mystical, welcome. I'm actually really curious to see if QAD, I don't even know who QAD is, but Curtis is supposed to just delete this first game. I think.
What is the song called?
What is the song called? I have no idea. I'm watching a live stream. What?
Oh.
It's called Watch Party. I'm so confused, dude.
Liquid. Jefferson's managed to get Tree down. Play for point, play for point.
It's going to be an explosion of death in the hands of the Dallas Fuel.
That was impressive.
Your brother turned on Omega Easy Mode. Haley the Goat here to say hi. What is good, Haley? I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you coming by and saying hi. I'll be going live for Tink here very soon on my tablet. If you're able to let me know if it's laggy or not, that would be amazing. Because I always have issues on calm days where I'll get on, start catching, and I'll click on one, it'll just
Welcome everyone
freeze.
to day 2 of the OWCS Stage 1 EMEA as well as MA playoffs. Zoe here and with me on the mic to cover all things EMEA as we are heading into this second day are Jake and Matt. Gents, it's been quite a day yesterday. A similar story, in fact, in both of our regions with a sweep and a 5-map banger. Let's recap what happened in EMEA. Starting, of course, with the sweep, Twisted Minds to absolutely no.
It's so funny. So
has just
our scrim team used to be Jake's like sister team, and the meme of like why it looked like the guy on the right always about to say something but doesn't want to get caught thinking of something funny. He was always like that, and I don't know why, but his facial features just are the exact same as they were back then.
Half team fight wins. Like it was just like
that one was close, man.
Like they got like oh man, they killed a player or two. That was a wild one. But yeah, I mean they're just unreal.
Yeah, it was rough. Then, of course, we also had a 5-map.
Hell yeah, that's right. I'm an hour ahead. I forgot.
Against DK. Melissa first picked VP to take that one.
I just hope it's not, because it's 60 something out right now. I hope it stays that low.
Call it an upset, and now VP's finding themselves in the bracket with 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, they showed up on match day, right? And when it comes to playoffs, that's what counts. That being said, you know, with how incredibly close that series is, and or rather was, I expect to see, you know, that there's a real possibility of a rematch even here in the playoffs, because as good as Twisted Minds look, it's really hard to imagine them not just qualifying in first. But the next 3 teams, like you might even think Alcad from their tough loss yesterday, oh, maybe they didn't look so good.
I would be able to find out what the field research one is, but as far as the wild hundo, That would depend on if you guys are weather boosted, and then you would only know one level's hundo. But if I look up this and I look at research, that'll probably reward us with it. The hundo for the research, which will be the easy one, you guys are so lucky. You guys are so fucking lucky, dude. Oh my god. Why the best calm day since me and my girlfriend broke up? Does it have the fucking easiest challenge ever? Oh, dude, that's ass. That is... It's amazing for you guys. Holy shit. 368. We gotta remember that.
Playoffs, that also means that you make it to the Champions Clash in Tokyo, Japan.
I'm gonna post on my
Ultimately,
IG
Joey,
real
that's the
quick
prize
on,
that,
this,
you know,
on
these
my
teams
story.
are probably the most focused on, right? It's the opportunity to compete on land, on a global stage, in front of a massive audience. I mean, it's what esports is really all about. It's the heart and soul. So, I mean, that's an event that you can be sure that all the players are thinking about, focusing on qualifying for. And I mean, with Twisted Minds, the way they're dominating EMEA, it's like the other three teams, it really does feel like they're battling for second place, but it's going to be hard fought with a prize like that on the line.
I mean, it's also going to Japan, so I mean, that's a pretty sweet trip. Overwatch is kind of like popping off in Japan, you know, really kind of like last year into this year. So I'm sure that place is going to be packed. It's going to be an awesome time.
What is up, y'all? I know I don't post on here as much as I should, but I need to. I am going live right now, and I am live until about 2 p.m. EST, maybe a little before that, for the Overwatch Championship Series watch party. Y'all can get drops over on my Twitch, but I'm live there, YouTube, and TikTok. Make sure to tune in. At about 1:30, 1:45-ish, I'll be going out to my local park, and we'll be playing the Pokemon Go Calm Day.
Yeah, someone has to get engaged. If you're in Japan,
appreciate all the
someone's
support of the
gotta
posts.
get engaged. But you know what? We have a lot of people who can make that happen, as we're also looking at all the other regions which are fighting through their current qualifiers. We're kicking things off in EMEA and NA this very weekend, and then afterwards, Pacific, China, Japan, and last but certainly not least, Korean teams will also battle for their spots in the Champions Clash.
And they really love their playoffs, huh? The Pacific. I mean, we're getting playoffs the entire rest of April, even into May, getting close to the Champions Clash event there in Tokyo. And then we have the Season 2 update, I think, on Tuesday, right? So we'll see, if some of those balance changes get adopted, right? We have like the tournament realm that sometimes gets used and kind of like allow teams to practice a little bit more, and obviously Sierra entering the game as well.
That's right. Blizzard did announce the new DPS hero Sierra, which will be joining us with the upcoming season. So
I'm excited.
Eyes on some of the gameplay right now. Any initial thoughts you're having, Jake?
I'm really interested to see how she fares in competitive play. I think a lot is going to ride on the impact of tracking dart, right? Like, this seems like a really powerful way to punish supports and DPS in particular. And so if she really does feel like that effective flanking duelist, we could see her have a lot of impact. I'm just curious to see. I mean, there's a lot of mobility, a lot of seeming skill potential expression on this kit, especially the primary weapon. Pretty interested to see a mechanic where the longer you shoot, the more accurate you become, like really benefiting players who can hold that tracking for an extended period of time.
Isacito 200cc, welcome.
Yeah, I'm curious, Jake, to see how much ammo she has in the clip, right?
Yep.
Like if she like, let's say it's like a 20, 25 bullets, right? Like, maybe the sustained pattern and just kind of how it like actually gains in accuracy over time isn't that impactful. If it's like 40, 50 shots, right?
Yeah,
like something like along those lines, I mean, that could be quite devastating. But yeah, it looks to be like an awesome hero, just kind of like another, maybe in the vein of like a soldier type of world where you can have this like a assault rifle to kind of put consistent damage down.
Yeah, but then you also have like those cool mobility features, right? Like you can grapple towards your drone, so we get some nice clips there. Very Widow grapple into headshots reminiscent. So I'm very interested to see what our pro players will be doing with Sierra once she's joining the gameplay, and whether or not we're going to see her potentially at the Champions Clash, right? But that's still some weeks away, so we will learn more about that very soon. Now let's talk about today's matches, because we are starting with there we go, with the VP and Katsuya. So we're starting in the lower bracket, meaning one of these teams will be out, and the other one gets to continue their run in the lower bracket to fight for their playoff lives. And then afterwards, TM and GK, they are fighting for the first spot, not just in our grand finals, but also to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, this first game is crazy, right? There's no way we get Kev not going to another international.
Oh,
right?
come on! Don't put that kind of.
I was about to say, did you just manifest that?
That is
Well, I
so
didn't
brutal,
manifest
man.
it.
That is so
The curse.
brutal. I mean, to
How
be
dare you.
fair, like no one would have thought EME or VP rather would find themselves here on an elimination game, like right off the bat, essentially in playoffs. So it's scary for them. They had a pretty solid, okay, like they're second to Twisted Minds, but they look solid, a 4-1 scoreline. It looks like the road is pretty clear for them. But I mean, EMEA has just been such a competitive region. The play has been so strong here. Not shocked to see Katsuya and GK putting up a fight. Still give VP the favorite in this opening match, but I think you would be making a huge mistake to underestimate Katsuya just because Twisted Minds, kind of took him to the cleaners yesterday.
Couldn't agree more. It's definitely still out for debate, or up for debate rather, which teams we will in fact be seeing qualifying for the Champions Clash. I know what skins we will be seeing at the Champions Clash. Pretty sure most of our players have been copying their Elysian Keeper crowdfunding mega bundle already, because look at these skins and everything else that comes with it. Should get yours now.
If we get the Champions Clash and players are actively using these skins in game, so we're seeing some Ryan, Lifeweaver, Wu Yang, that would be a wild turn of events.
That's right. And
I
if you
missed
get that
the-
bundle, you are actively supporting the Champions Clash. Keep
That's
that in
true.
mind.
We also got a giveaway. Scan the QR code, man. You can just
True.
get this for free. I want to bring back the Lifeweaver Zen comps, man. That was too much fun. I feel like that, Zen got a little buff. I feel like it's
This is
gotta come
coming
back.
from the biggest Lifeweaver hater. You were
Yeah,
never a Weaver believer.
Well,
What happened?
they
what
buffed
changed?
Weaver about 15 times, and I think that makes Weaver
We
a
just
little
need one
bit
That's what
more.
it took.
We just need one more.
One
Just
more
one
buff
more.
and he's back. Let's talk about our first match, our first series of the day. They are fighting for their playoffs life. VP going up against Katsuya. They did play, 3 weeks ago? But that's when the Katsuya roster was still like kind of putting their pieces together, right, for the regular season. You guys were on the mics for that one. I'm sure you vividly remember everything that transpired.
Well, I mean, you can kind of see here through the footage. This is like when Katsuya was messing around with some Domina. If you remember at the beginning
True,
of,
this
I think
is
the
so
stage,
early
they
in
were
the
saying,
stage.
yeah, Vestola was like, they were trying to play a lot of Domina. They were playing some Orisa, and then I actually think we never saw it again after this match. I think they just kind of put it away for good. So I think they've definitely improved since then.
What's up, FSM?
Yeah, I
Right.
think
Week
this
one
match-
always a little experimental, so
Yeah, it's not going to tell us much. What I will say is Psycho was absolutely him yesterday. Like, they might have lost, but Psycho is an absolute demon, especially
How you
down the
been?
stretch in a high
I've been
school.
very good.
There's going to be a player I'm watching here in
I've
the
been
States.
playing a
What
lot
he can do
more
for
Overwatch
the
again, and
It's
it's
gonna be a huge
felt
improvement
amazing.
for VP, and for this squad in general, right? This is now do or die, and so there's never a better time for a player to
Glad
really
to
step
hear,
up
bro.
and take
Top
over this
preach.
game, build that head of confidence. They got to win more matches now to make it to Japan.
And today's a different opponent, right? Yesterday we saw them mostly just playing on that Zarya and Tracer composition at the very end, like on map 5. They did then finally bust out the Maga again, which is something they've been playing around with throughout the last couple weeks. Now their opponent, Katsuya, whilst VP were like challenged to go the distance and technically show us different looks, even though that's not really what they did, Katsuya really didn't get to show as much. I think you can take very little away from their match yesterday against Twisted Minds. It was a beatdown. How do you bounce back from that?
I mean, I think everybody in the region's probably resigned to losing to Twisted Minds. Maybe not. Maybe they feel like they can win a map or so, but like I think everybody kind of understands it's gonna be a little bit of a loss. Look, I mean, Taejung, trying his heart out the other day, but I mean, it's gonna be a really tough go here against VP, right? As Jake was talking about, Psycho was unreal the other day.
I will say, like, again, I don't want to discredit them. TM is built different. I think you're right that probably teams recognize that, like, a loss to Twisted Minds in the form they're in right now, it isn't really going to tilt your team because it's like, look, you know, that's a bridge to cross another day. They're on a different level, frankly, than the other teams in the region. You can still come out of that and feel like, hey, Virtus Pro is beatable. You need to come out, you need to have a very strong game across the board here for Katsuya. Definitely going to be an interesting one for Vistola, right? You know, to be playing against his former squad. You know, Aizam and him were kind of sharing playtime. Looked like at the end of last year, Aizam kind of got the nod and obviously still on the roster. So a bit of a grudge match, I think, for Vistola, an opportunity to kind of prove himself. That being said, VP, they don't want to let this one slip away from them. There's a reason they're 4-1 in the regular season. It might have been different comps last time these two teams battled it out, but still got to look at the players for VP and think they have a very strong chance here.
Absolutely, and they want to prove themselves, right? If you're coming off of a loss from such a close series that they very much could have won, I'm sure you're extra motivated. Now also, of course, with one foot out the door already, they want to stay in the competition. If we look at a prediction for this one, I'm going to give it to VP. And I honestly don't even think it's a close one. I think GK poked the bear here, and VP are going to come back with a vengeance.
I mean, it would be really difficult to pick against VP in this scenario. I think we end up kind of seeing them rematch GK eventually. I got VP in this series.
Yeah, I had to go the same way. You know, it was different comps last time these two teams matched up, but I still think VP are pound for pound the better team.
Lol, I just saw a clip where you smash attack duck on scan.
I just don't see it. I think VP is going to be a strong opponent, and I think they're even going to make it to Japan.
Bean punch.
Yesterday.
Absolutely. Well, this is for all the marbles. It's elimination day as we kick off day 2. Guys, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Zoe. And as we get into this opening pick on control, it's going to be Lijiang Tower. For Virtus Pro, I think this signals a return to what's worked for them before. I think this series and the way the meta is going in EMEA is going to be a lot of Zarya, Tracer, Emre, probably Lucio Kiri as well.
Yeah, I mean, Jake.
Sorry, I'm trying to get like really comfortable.
Their loss yesterday, GK. If there is a path for Katsuya to win this series, what do you think it is? Like, I know we did see GK play pretty well in the Zarya mirror against VP, and then VP tries to go Maga at the end, and GK was able to stop him. What do you think for Katsuya, if there is one, like as a path to get a victory here?
Well, they're going to open with a Tracer ban, which is a lot of respect on Psycho, to be honest, on a map that is particularly strong.
That's weird.
Tracer. I think this opens the door to potentially playing some Pharah. In the past, we've seen, Pharah really come out on Lijiang Tower in particular, and Tracer is typically the responsive counterpick on DPS. At this level of play, you're already going to play something like an Emre, so I expect to see Pharah be pretty important here. For Psycho, I don't sort of think of that hero as like the ideal one in his pool, so it might be more comfortable for Katsuya. VP taking away the Juno, just ensuring that, like, hey, this is going to be a Lucio Kiri battle.
Yeah.
That's going to be, they want to stabilize.
They want to make sure they don't have other
Katsuya,
support
the team
swaps.
Kind of throwing a monkey wrench into the meta, which makes sense as the underdog squad. They might even try to go for some of these greedy poke comps, like maybe bringing out the Iliari on something like Night Market, but it's Lijiang Tower in the end. It's kind of hard to make those styles work on at least 2 of the 3 of the maps.
Yeah, little fun fact, I don't know if you were here a second ago, FSM, but this guy used to be my old team's coach because he used to play for the Dallas Fuel, and I was on Dallas Fuel's sister team. It's always a great thing to see people that like deserve this kind of popularity being there. It's awesome.
I think they could kind of play that Zarya head-to-head, and I think Katsuya probably will just do it, and I think you would definitely favor VP in it, but the Tracer ban is quite interesting.
Dang, really?
I definitely think that could maybe swing things slightly over towards Katsuya, and then I think you gotta have to.
If you know any of like the OG Overwatch players, I'm like 100% certain.
Good to see him there, he's a goat then lol.
Facts. There's so many top players that like I either was on the same team as or lost to tremendously back in Contender Season 0 that are on these like full teams now. When we get to Dallas Fuel, there's like 3 people that I've literally been on a team with there.
Especially Hitscan to shine potentially and flex DPS to show that flexibility. Being tasked now without probably.
But Unk is washed at least compared to that now. We gotta get back. It's the first time I've had something like actually cause a good bit of lag while I'm streaming, which surprises me honestly.
You played with many goats, I see.
This is true. This is true.
Zarya Vendetta comps, at least here on Lijiang Tower.
Bro, if I gotta make it
Definitely a
myself, I gotta
possibility.
fake
You
it
could
to
also
make it, you know?
Psycho play something like Farah, like you mentioned, but
Until I am a
overall,
goat
it's, I mean,
myself.
both teams probably hovering over some type of like Zarya shell, and hey, Jake, just like yesterday, get a little bit of a pause action here right off the rip. Why'd you sigh and give that big smile? What's up with that?
I mean, you just throw it just like yesterday on us with our massive pod shenanigans. But hopefully we're going to be just quickly resolving this one, being able to get back into the action, get your DCs out of the way right as the first
Yeah,
map
that's true.
begins.
If you get them out now, you're in a great spot.
Yeah, then
just
obviously it's not going to happen again. Knock on wood. I'm
obviously,
knocking on wood, chat. If you can hear this, I'm
there's
knocking
no
on
Were there DCs yesterday? No, dude.
another pause for the rest of the day. That is
man.
I feel like
knock on
I'm just
wood
cursing us
right now.
constantly.
Oh, God. I remember. Oh, that's really good. I'm gonna let that load. Shaquille? Is that you? Mr. O'Neill. I don't know what I'm watching, and I'm glad it's muted. That's all I know.
They're kind of fine playing that Zarya look.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting back into the action here on Gardens to open up Lijiang Tower here. Elimination on the line between these two teams. Virtus Pro, they might have been 4-1 in that regular stage round robin. Katsuya 2-3, but it doesn't matter now. It's all about this match. Who can win today? And a
That's
match win
crazy.
would be exactly what the doctor ordered for Katsuya. And it looks like they are going to open up
Hold up.
with the Iari.
Yeah, Ilari with a Kiri with a Far in the mix. So both of the DPS, Flex DPS, not going over to the Vendetta. They're actually going to go over and play the Pharah. Kev will take out the Pylon, and I don't know
SOS,
why.
Matt.
I don't know why I guaranteed
Matt,
it.
I blame
That was
you.
a silly.
I blame
That
Matt.
was such a silly guarantee. I will take partial responsibility for this. I think you also should take some
All right, that's fair,
responsibility
that's
because
fair.
you are here as well.
I did make a joke
but
about it. It was my bad.
I 100% jinxed it, guaranteeing that we would not have another one, and then immediately, within the first 10 seconds of the game, getting another one. That is somewhat my bad, I believe.
I like the Ilari comp. I think it's interesting. In the end, though,
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about it, especially on this map, right? There's a lot of these like close corners. It's hard to get the space to work with, and even when you're defending the point, feels like the attackers can like approach from White Room, put some pressure down on the objective, and it just doesn't. I just don't feel the oomph on this map. I think if you're gonna play it here, though, you almost certainly are gonna play it on Night Market.
Yeah,
So,
you're gonna keep playing it, right?
yeah, and you can maybe get some of the perks online for the later rounds, but there's stuff like Control Center where you could try, but it feels
Yeah.
like Lucio is just gonna have way too much
You can
impact.
try anything, right? I mean, but I don't know if it'll produce
You are
great
allowed
results. I
to
think,
try.
yeah.
You are allowed to play
Yeah,
whatever you want.
here in Night Market, feel like that'll be kind of the.
I'm gonna
the
let
way
this
to
go. I'm gonna
Looks
use the
like,
restroom
just
super
some ping
quick, and I
issues,
will be
and
back.
hey, this is a really important match,
Literally
right? The
before
loser of this
the notice
is
is
no
gone.
longer in the tournament, so we're gonna give the players, most of the time they need to be able to kind of get those ping issues sorted and make sure everybody's kind of on an even playing field here.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you don't want to be, throwing caution to the wind here. Like you said, this has been like the work of the last couple months here, grinding towards this moment. The first major tournament of the year here in a big year for Overwatch esports.
Dude, doesn't this always happen with VP though? I think maybe the ping issues here were on the side of Katsuya, but wasn't that how was it Gen G or Peps got in? like I think somebody was like lagging really bad last year for VP. It seems to be something that may just happen in their matches, because we'll take a look at the bracket here as the one we're currently in, VP Katsuya. We're just getting everybody from Katsuya back into the lobby, and then obviously making sure VP is all set to go as well. And then after this, we'll have that Twisted Minds versus GK game. We'll see what happens there, right? I mean, Twisted Minds, it's a lot of 3, a lot of 0 in a lot of their games, really every single game that they've done this stage. But hey, maybe there's a chance that one gets a little spicy.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely looking to go flawless here. I think all the way through the EMEA playoffs. Definitely, it's up to any other team to really change that narrative for Twisted Minds. That being said, VP, Alcad, you know, maybe it's some ping issues, but you know what? They're doing it for you, the people. Chat, make sure your accounts are linked. You are, I mean, you are absolutely sleeping if your account is not linked at this moment. We have drops, we got VP skips, we got Winton skins for the people, we got loot boxes for the people.
Bro, yeah, I mean, we you know, our stream, lots of co-streamers out there, right? You can kind of like farm these drops. I'm getting close. I think I have just about all of them. I think I was just claiming all my competitive points as well. The double drops. We're double dipping in terms of drops at the moment. So we're eating good in all of these, Jake.
Yeah, these you know, you gotta get your loot boxes, and you gotta be rocking the fresh OWCS Winston. I'm here for the all orange style, Matt. What about you?
Yeah, the orange is pretty good. I think it hey, we're getting right back in a game.
Even better,
yeah, that
even
orange
better
though.
Than a Winston
Yeah,
skin.
when you're playing Winston and you just kind of explode into the skybox, the orange looks really good flying through the sky. As it'll be Katsia here who's trying to get over the bridge, and they take out Kev. Kev just trying to put the pressure down onto the point. It'll be VP in control of it, but for not long, Jake.
Yeah, great move out into the open. Katsia sense weakness. They're able to charge forward. Kevster just not able to get the resource at that moment. Getting a first control.
We're going back. I just wanted to text.
Now we're gonna see how that retake ends up looking here. With Tracer out of the mix, it's a little bit more awkward to punish the Alari. I mean,
it's slow, like, right? I mean, just slower in terms of like actually kind of getting it and making a play. But yeah, like to punish the Alari, I mean, Gala can play so far away and put pressure, I don't know, onto Psycho that obviously Taejog's not dealing with in response.
Yeah, and the spam definitely heavy here. Kevster makes his way over to the point. Pressuring here is going to be crucial because Izon keeps trying to cross the bridge here. A typical play for Zarya. Seems to have done it for now. Going to start to put some pressure on, maybe break that pylon. As the cap is starting to be threatened. Landon working together here with Izon, but Taejong finds the kill here on the off angle. Takes down Psycho. Maybe though the brawl in this side room is going well. Izon getting low. Well, needs this kill. He does find it. That means that the point is flipped. It's enough players online. Even Fixa finds a kill on Far, where this one could get weird. Like the spawners could come back.
Where did everybody go? It's like they end up flipping. Oh, there's rushes from both teams here, Jake. But the Soul is still being alive, 100 energy. This is gonna be difficult to get him off the point.
True, but you already have the flip. I mean, you don't necessarily need to drop him, but Psycho goes a little bit too deep, gets beamed down, and with Graviton Surge online, Gala finding that kill. This one does look like a foregone conclusion here for Katsia holding onto the point, but it's a lot of time towards VP. The old trade is even in the end, so this point is still absolutely winnable. I do think the beat timing potentially huge for Fixa. Vestola needs to be clean with the grab, needs to force that beat out and ensure that there's not much offensive potential. Because if you do kind of get that beat and swarm over the backline, Katsia don't have the best responses.
Yeah, I mean, dude, VP gets kind of fortunate that they're able to flip, right? I mean, you'd be just kind of like hightailing it back there, desperately trying to get a touch. It'll be a Captain Sun here. Gala gets up in the sky, and if he can connect with anything, just kind of launches over towards the point. Nobody actually ends up falling for that as Kevin really rough spot. Nice nade, though, in a bubble.
Yeah, the bubble saves him. Grab comes in, but it's only onto Eisner. This is what we talked about. It's not going to be good enough for Katsia. First Pro still healthy. They're going to commit the grab at their own. The barrage protecting for the moment from Taejong, but as soon as it expires, Psycho cleans up that kill. Vestola likely soon to drop as well. If he gets out with his energy, though, jumps over the gap here. Could be nice. Aid is going to take a quick hop off the map, take the reset, and Gala over to the Lucio. Does not want to try and face a retake with that Illari, but the ult bank is completely dry for Katsia.
Yeah.
50% on the point, 50% to Surmajad's rush. It's not a great spot for Katsia.
No, you're not in a position to farm up this rush, right? Like, it would just take so long, you would imagine.
It'd be close if you try to play it slow. Some spam over the top from Taejong, putting nice pressure in. Here comes the barrage. Cleanse, though. Great from Surmajad. Keeps Vestola up. In the end, though, the follow-up is there. They collapse on the tank of Katsia. Virtus Pro, prime position to close out this opening round of control. Now Katsia have to take a quick reset and come back in, but this comp isn't the best at the overtime touches. You might need to deploy like a Zarya bubble on that Pharah just to get the OT rolling. And Landon has a faster Kitsune rush.
Yeah, I mean, with no Tracer here, it's going to be really difficult to not to get a touch. It looks like it'll be Taejong kind of goes over the gap there. Maybe it'll be the one that sets up, triggers OT. Surmajad does end up kind of getting this Kitsune rush. Let's see how it pans off. Gala dangerously low, and he's not able to stay alive.
Oh, Gala just got absolutely dominated by Psycho. Conked off. He goes like a hyper wall ride into the pit. And I
He
mean, that,
exploded.
ultimately, that's the problem, right? Even with the rush, you're trying to come through a choke, and you really just don't have flanking potential. Farah, like, really can't go on an off angle there. If she's on her own, she's just going to die to the Emra. There's, like, no way to take that fight. And so you end up just all coming through the same choke point into a wall of spam. And a perfectly placed conk from Psycho even further disrupts the play. So great execution to hold on to the point from VP. The Cheese Ilari to open the map doesn't work out that time for Katsia, but we're going to Night Market, and if they like it on Garden, they got to try it again here.
Yeah, it feels like you're at least going to try it off the rip, and then maybe there's a little bit of a faster swap over to the Lucio where it's going to be both on Sim here. They'll just, TP out and then go over to the Pharah. So it will just be the difference of the Ilari in the mix here. But with both teams taking the TP out, you're not going to lose a lot of position here for Katsia.
I really like this from VP. They've been taking this left side angle now, which is not the conventional way to play this map, but they anticipate the Ilari. They're clearing out the side angle. The Ilari's going to be forced to the back of the point here, which is not a good position for the hero. You kind of want to play from outside typically. And so I like the VP have isolated this angle, but Katsia are contesting it. They're not giving it up for free. Opportunity to chase down aid presents itself. Kevster makes quick work of that, and now Katsia on the point, but down one. It doesn't look great for them.
Yeah, he was over there kind of like playing with the mega held back, and he just gets ran down. It looks like potentially wasn't, aware that the push was coming in from VP, but now it looks like Katsia just trying to get everybody out as safe as possible. So Vestolo's going to gain some charge out of this, pretty high on the Zarya for Katsia. As soon as 80 gets back, they're going to try and make another push here, but without that Lucio speed, obviously going to be working pretty slow through the mid.
You got to be cautious. VP are going to play defensive on the point here. There's always opportunity for them to get aggressive with the speed boost. And they're going to be doing just that now, stepping up to the front. Tajon looking it over the top, wants to find a kill, maybe punishing Psycho on this far, but he plays so for now, and it's a full package. VP back into their own spawn. Now they're repushing, and Vastola is low. Need to touch this point, though, to prevent the flip. And Eisner just doesn't have the HP to hold on to it. So actually, Katsia kind of box out to take the point for free. Ultimate's coming up soon here for VP. They're looking to farm up those last few percentages before the re-engage, but Katsia running the clock now in control. Grab comes in. Maybe it's going to be good enough, but the damage from far is not there. Oh, Vastola throws the grab in, but he falls just after. There's not going to be any damage to follow that up. Eisner dominates here on the point.
I mean, that's brutal to end up using the grab there from Vastola. You could have ended up at least holding on to it and then getting the beat out in the next fight.
Go.
But now, I mean, with no grab, I guess you will have an advantage.
I'm so excited coming up. Tink Calm Day in Pokemon Go.
Back if you're Katsia in the next upcoming fight. Nice shot here from Taejon. He's putting a lot of nice direct shots into Psycho. Just one rocket short of finishing them off.
Comes over right protocol. Kevster has a great angle. Beat comes in as well. They need to find a catch. Katsia backline, but the rotation looks really good for Katsia. Captive Sun zones a lot of players away into the corners, and Katsia rotate away from that fight onto the point. Kevster now between a rock and a hard place, but the bubble could turn the tides. Vastola now flanked and surrounded, but Taejong's barrage does enough. Drops Eisner. And with that, as the dust settles, Katsia take control of the point in the mid-fight. Beautiful rotations from a team without a Lucio.
Yeah.
Outmaneuvering Virtus Pro. That's just well executed from Katsia. You got to give them credit for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have obviously the beat is used there for VP, so you don't have like a lot of that sustain there for Katsia. They're still able to kind of find a way out of it. Nice shots from Taejong there, just kind of that conk through the choke, just trying to separate some players. It's going to be a barrage there. No way. They're going to be able to keep Vastola up through Psycho's barrage as he gets right onto the point.
Yeah, I'm happy that barrage is still this good. I'm going to be
could actually, that might actually get
completely honest.
Ending it there, Jake. I mean, you're going to get like 80+% here. You're most likely going to have a rush for this next fight. Gala going over Lucio just to make sure they get back. So that is a fast flip there from VP.
Taejong goes outside to the point here. Virtus Pro looking to be very aggressive, but a nice touch from the Pharah. He's going to pull some resources from Virtus Pro back from the choke. Makes an opportunity here for Katsia to step up. But great angle from Kevster, putting in these big damage shots. Taejong is going to be struggling to get into the fight now. And the Kitsune Rush available for Landon, and already Fixa has found aid. Maybe a death blow here to Katsia on map 1. Landon finds another, and the rush on point is just dominating them. Taejong, the last man standing, won't be able to last much longer. And
that was a swept map.
1-0 in the series. The Ilari idea, you could see some of the vision. The execution was good, but in the end, good old-fashioned speed boost, man, just gets the job done.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's just showing the power of Lucio, right? Being able when the other team doesn't have mobility, especially with one of their players in the back line being able to just kind of like run them down. So strong. Fixa only one death throughout this map, so really strong play from the Lucio there of Virtus Pro, as we also saw Landon play the Kiri at an extremely high level. It did feel very odd though, without obviously Tracer in the game, right? We saw Tracer being so impactful yesterday, especially on control, able to kind of constantly go on.
Yeah,
flanks,
Tracer band is
touches,
wild.
Just a little bit of a slower brand of Overwatch.
Yeah, you know, you could see why. Like the Pharah from Taejong actually seemed really confident and definitely like a conceptually a good idea for them. But in the end, I mean, Psycho held his own and survived the Tracer ban, which clearly is targeted at him as an individual. I mean, I honestly don't even hate it considering the showcase he was able to put on yesterday. But you know, you expend it here, you go for kind of a cheeky cheese, and the downside in a meta that has stabilized as this one is if you're the team who needs to kind of get the opponent off of what's the strongest comp, and you're kind of forcing things to go away from that, you're running uphill, right? It's not unwinnable. You know, you can do that, but you're just enough off the meta to kind of make things awkward and try to get an edge, but not enough off the meta a la Dallas Fuel to really put the opponent in like a chaotic state, make sure they don't know what really to do. It felt like VP had some great moves in that series as well, like the rotations with the Lucio, chasing down, like a lot of times they're just winning fights because they essentially chase down one DPS, kill him off, and go cap the point. Like it's not crazy, it's not going to show some extreme stat disadvantage, but you get some two very, very solid round wins off the back of those plays.
Yeah, it's also not like horribly complicated, right? Like, hey, their Pharah's on somewhat of a flank, we have speed, let's go take a 5v4 and just kind of run them over. Where now thinking about Katsia, right? Yesterday I believe they took us to like push and flashpoint, we're like the two back-to-back. Opportunity to do that here. Okay, so let's take us to Havana, so a little bit of a different change up here for Katsia. A few different, like, this also works out pretty well for double flex. I do wonder if you're Katsia, like, would you even consider maybe getting rid of the Kiri, right? It's so good from Landon on VP, and like you could also kind of play some other different kind of combinations with that Katsia backline. Maybe that's a pick they look at, but what does the Havana pick speak to you about?
I think you're absolutely right. I agree with that analysis exactly right. I think the Kiri ban is the one that opens the door to the double flex support comps the most. Could consider a Lucio ban. However, I think like something like Kiri Juno is still a really good option even without Lucio available. You still have that speed for initiates. You have a lot of, direct healing throughput to the Zarya. In the end, it's like the cleanse, I think, makes Ilari's job really difficult, as well as Kiri's ability to like TP to a DPS and 2v1. But it's actually going to be it's going to Lucio ban and a responsive Zarya ban out of VP.
This is probably what, Juno break with a Maga? Is that what we're thinking here?
Maybe
from VP, yeah, and just kind of like forcing him to take that.
Could be Maga. It could be like just Diva or Sigma though, because okay. So to me, things get really awkward when you ban, especially Lucio. Trying to run people over gets really difficult because yes, Juno has a speed ring, right, and she can still like initiate. But in the end, Lucio's way more than just the speed, right? He can like get behind people, he can boot them in, and so against a Sigma, right, for instance, it's a very different matchup. Juno is like not really a threat to a Sigma, where a Lucio can get on top of you. Sigma actually gets booped
past his
farther.
shield, like
Sigma gets booped farther than other tanks because he flies. That's an odd, interesting fact about Overwatch. It's actually how it works. For whatever reason, he gets booped farther than other tanks, even before the knockback changes.
So VP on here on offense, at least for now. We're gonna see Psycho switch. Probably the Vendetta here, or maybe Tracer. Yeah, so Tracer. And they have to play the Diva here. I think this is pretty decent for Katsia on the defensive side of things, right?
I kind of like their comp. I'm not such a big fan of this reaction here because I think Vendetta and Sig can put a lot of work in on Icenom. So pressure on Icenom, but a Brig rally is going to really change the story, right? That's going to be a complete tempo shift. If you're able to win fights without it, be even better. But Icenom already just boxed out of the suit. The crit from Taejong enough to accomplish it. That's what I'm kind of worried about in this comp. This is not an easy comp to play Diva into. There is a metric ton of damage coming at you on the tank roll.
Oh, I mean, between, the Ilari, the Sigma, the Emre, like, I mean, it is just a really difficult amount of damage. And then also, like, I know you get hit with an accretion, right? There's unblockable damage from the Vendetta. It's a really difficult matchup for the Diva. We'll see if VP kind of continues to run it, but a good start for Katsia, at least early on here on defense.
Yeah, it's definitely a practice strategy, one that I think puts them in the driver's seat here in this game. Virtus Pro, though, they've got Psycho into the backline. They didn't accomplish much with that last fight, but getting Tracer into the enemy backline at the start of the fight is a meaningful accomplishment on Havana. Psycho getting harassed, mostly just pulling attention to himself, trying to be that thorn in the backside, but gets low. Struggling. Kevster, though, finds the cleanup kill onto Gala. That's massive. Takes out one of the main healers. Serverjet's going to really struggle to keep people healthy on his own. Not Ilari's strong suit. And I mean, that's the weakness of these poke styles, right? You lose one player and the dynamic completely flips.
I think it's just the pressure that Psycho's putting on there, right? Just peppering players into the back line as you see Serverjet desperately trying to keep players alive. He's going to captive stun. It's going to be an orbital ray in response. And oh, actually, Vestola.
Oh, the point caps.
Vestola actually got, you see it there for a quick second. Vestola went to use the Gravik Flux, and he actually gets bashed out of it there by Fixa when he ended up using the rally. That is a 6 stun that comes in from Fixa, just interrupts the Flux from coming on down.
Yeah, the thing about this matchup in particular is really that, I mean, Brig versus Sigma is not a great matchup typically, but when the ultimate's online, Sigma can't play the game, right? The stun just completely boxes you out. And Vestola's going to go over to the Maga, which I actually don't mind against this support backline. I think it still functions pretty well with the style they're playing. Trying to retake map control now. They got to find a way to deploy these ultimates. Virtus Pro great at kiting with his style, and Mauga, boom, completely out of the fight there. It's going to be awkward. There's a bit of room to work. Psycho putting big damage into the backline.
Yeah, it's going to be AID using the override protocol here. I think just to kind of like buy them some time, buy them some space, right? It seemed like VP was going to start to get rolling, and they'd be able to put out enough damage that Taejunk's able to finish one, and now they get control over this choke, which I think is so important. This is maybe where Katsia can make a stand or two, right? You see the pylon there. Serverjet is going to be able to just kind of keep Vestola up as you see Ice Gnome trying to get to the high ground, put some pressure on the supports there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crucial. Try to break this high ground setup. Taejong, though, battling on the point, makes this look really awkward for D.Va. Emrys, though, traded out of the game. Eisnov does have self-destruct here. Is kind of going to be happy to take some trades here outside with the help of Psycho. Still, you need to get some value off of this. Vestola, though, in the meantime, drops low. The Stomp is good enough to take down Fixa, but it costs the tank his life. Eisnov still alive in the suit. Like this move from Vendetta, though, going past the front line, trying to take down Landon, but he's too clean with the movement. He gets away for now. Vestola coming back in. I think Cart's going to roll here, Matt. It's a scrappy one, but it's enough to get the attackers moving.
Yeah, I mean, these fights are just kind of bloodbaths, right? A lot of kills traded back and forth. This Isom goes deep. He actually tried to make a play there for Serverjet. Serverjet's able to make it out with his life as orbital rate able to be played in here for VP, and if Panda has this override protocol, it could be pretty devastating as you're trying to like work your way out towards the point.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a crucial ultimate here. It comes from Kevster. Vestola has already found a trade. Kancia battling this one out now in a 4-on-4. Sunstruck, though, onto Kevster means maybe an opportunity to finish it. He whips out the pistol, tries to retake this position. They're running down the enemy Ember, and Eisnov happy to find that kill in exchange for a self-destruct. Going to be suited and back into this one. But the scrappy nature of this fight means the defenders still have something to play for. Maga brawling this one out, very healthy. He doesn't seem to do the damage to bring him down. He's going to rip the cage fight, but 3-on-1. I'm not sure he's going to be able to take that. And with the rally, it's just going to overwhelm him. The Ray can't get there in time.
I kind of hate the way that ends up working out for Katsia. I mean, I actually thought they were in a pretty decent spot. Like, I think they could have backed up maybe a little bit, right? And Gala ends up having the orbital ray, and you had Vestola alive, Gala alive. You also had Taejong up. Like, maybe back up, play a little bit more passive, like, you know, really kind of like where the card is about to kind of go in, and you're able to combo that a little bit better. But the Ray comes in late trying to save Vestola. He kind of uses the cage fight, but then gets locked on the other side, so he doesn't even grab great line of sight there from Gala. So I think maybe you could have made that a little bit more interesting if you're Katsia, but VP do a nice job getting to that second phase of the map.
Yeah, it feels like when you can defeat Malga in his own cage fight, you're definitely struggling on the execution front, right? You really needed more players inside battling. That aid drops super low. The pressure in the DPS here of Virtus Pro is intense. And even with the override protocol, Kevster just beams him out of the sky. Got Sia reeling, health low across the board. This should be an easy cleanup. Virtus Pro should get this done without a single ultimate committed. Sundering Blade creates a little bit of space to heal up, and Taejong goes to the card, but Fix is just boxing him out here, has the support of the team behind him. Desperation now from Katsia. They're dying off the point even as well here, so this is going to be a costly fight. It's going to be down to that final castle hold here for the defenders.
It feels like to me, Jake, at least, you know, the last 2 fights, like Katsuya's trying to make like some kind of like hero plays, right? That they're able to kind of like save the game. I mean, 8 is so low, ends up using the override protocol, gets like 1 shot off, and then gets finished off as you see Kevster here gets towards that high ground. Captive Sun popped here by Sermajed, so he's gonna try and connect with the Emre on the other side. Can't really find him. Oh, that's a nice block there from Fixa. So nothing with the Captive Sun. Now you're gonna have the rally plus orbital ray here as VP's storming towards Katsuya's spawn.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. Look at Fixa deep now into the front line. Pistola just runs away in fear on the Mauga. Cannot stand up here to the front line pressure of Virtus Pro, who are storming this castle. Post haste, a minute on the clock still, and they're cruising to a finish. Self-destruct pop from Izon making it yet more difficult to touch, and it just can't come in time.
That's a lot of time.
An extra minute on Havana is crazy. I mean, finishing this map, period, successfully delivering the payload is way beyond, I think, the average on Havana. So Katsuya in a rough spot already in the series. I mean, really staring down the barrel of a 2-0 loss unless they can make magic happen on their attack.
And they banned the Lucio, which you would think would be one of their stronger bans, but VP getting rid of the Zarya on the other end allows them to kind of, you know, play this diva the entire time. And we were like, oh, maybe they'll be the team that kind of ends up playing some Maga. But you see Ice Gnome 18-0. He just got demeched at that start, right? Then went back and swapped, but they were never able to deal with that diva and the constant pressure.
Yeah, you know, Virtus Pro, we're kind of the team that started this Maga craze, and
they baited everybody in.
Yeah, maybe it was a bit of a bait. I guess they baited themselves yesterday, so I don't know if we can say
okay,
it was a
that's
bait.
True.
But
that's true.
It does look like you can just beat it, right? Like playing this like slow poke game, boxing out the Maga, protecting your teammates from the stomps. It's not really seeing the impact, right? The big team fights, you know, the big moments of aggression, they haven't really come together in this one. And Virtus Pro gonna run it back on their defense. Hey, without Zarya Lucio, we're basically just gonna replace, you know, those roles and run a similar comp that just has a little bit more structure to it. But the Tracer Emra dominating the world. No need to swap for the Virtus Pro DPS. And as we said before, this is a comfortable meta for Psycho and Kevster. I would say both on pretty ideal heroes for their skill set.
And I mean, 2 really huge bans, right? The Tracer in map number 1, and then now the Lucio. You lose those for Katsuya, and they kind of look around, and there's not a lot of other great options out there to get rid of in the pool to make it difficult for VP. Is, you know, Psycho has looked so good on the Tracer. It'll be Taechung now trying to play Tracer as well, playing a lot of Vendetta in the first half. Didn't really kind of pop off as we've seen Vendettas do in the past. Seems like maybe Tracer kind of you know, taking up that position, and just like that, Psycho and Kev, a kill each. Taejong on the flank, but his whole team is dead. I mean, everybody chasing him down here for VP. This is a brutal start on defense for Katsuya.
Now they just get carved up into pieces on the walk-up. Like, they don't even get to play the game there. Really am not a fan of the Maga on this attack. I mean, you just can't do anything about the DPS on high ground. Like, literally, there's nothing you can ever do on Maga about that. So whenever Kevster takes an angle, it's, what, 8 up to just solo him? And with the defender's advantage, with the Diva assisting potentially on those high ground engagements, Izon is not giving up a lick of card time for free. Kevster just free firing, pumping damage, farming up towards that override protocol.
We also talk about how the Emre can just kind of like farm the Maga. Like, no need to do it right now as they end up losing 8. This is just kind of falling apart a little bit here for Katsuya as you see Fixa, I mean, not in a great up position. Anytime you see the Maga doing the charge back to the spawn, the stomp, not ideal as Ice Gnome gets right into the mix. Still, they have not been able to deal with this D.Va at all. Touch the spawn there and then back on up. But 2 holds in a row, 2 fight wins in a row there for VP, and they haven't had to use anything here, right? You're going to be able to kind of stack up all these for the next few fights.
Kevster just gets somebody low. Psycho and Izon pounce. It's a recipe for success. It's not complicated. That's one of the keys, I think, to the success of this Virtus Pro style. Here comes the override protocol from Kevster over the top. Going to put some solid damage in. Pistola, though, more than willing to take it, but that does leave Sermajed out on an island. The override protocol zones players away and split off into a room inside is not a recipe for success on Brig, flanked and surrounded by Virtus Pro players. And again, a win with only the override protocol. And Matt, already basically 2.5 minutes off the clock. Like, we're down to the last 2 fights. If you cap this, it's even best case scenario for Katsuya.
Well,
it's going to be OT.
In like, they basically just gotten the push of the payload that you're basically just given by the map, right? And then, like, the first fight is always in this first corner. They made no real headway getting over there. That's going to be a cage fight. It's going to be a charge on in there from Vestola. They want to go aggressive. It's going to be orbital raise and rallies from both teams as well. Vestola does find Kev. That is a huge pick. You're going to lose Landon as well, but you still have Psycho and Ice Gnome still in the fight.
He's got Bomb. It is double support plus Maga, so some extremely hard targets. Fixa isolated here as the low mobility player. Nice punish from Vestola. But you're still not on the payload. Virtus.pro gonna have time to hit the respawns. They're gonna be back into this. Abe goes over to the Vendetta. So just all in aggression here. Icenom, gotta be careful now with the self-destruct. You could easily drop during that moment of vulnerability. See if this level of aggression works out. There's no hit scan here on the field for the attacker, so a lot of space for Kepster to work with and just pump out that
take
damage.
some
You gotta
hits.
get on top of the Emirate.
And then I'm gonna hit it up to the park.
In a really rough spot as he's gonna get in a 1v1 there against Vendetta. Not where you want to be. It's gonna be Psycho takes out Aid. Self-destruct comes on hand. Icenom actually gets back into mech take, and we're under 30 seconds.
Icenom just running down the flankers. Vestola, he's putting out damage, but they're just kiting him. The Maga, too predictable this movement. Tracer and Emirate is too good at backing off of those fights. The desperation Vendetta swap doesn't seem to have worked out. Is there a player behind? Kepster seems to think so.
But taking a look there for a second.
They get the OT touch, they have the fight going, but Gall is on Jetpack Cat. This is full chaos. Kepster over the top now. Override protocol. Cuts down one of the opposing GPS. Fixa finds the other, and that too. He could be just done and dusted. Vestola close to a cage fight. Already dropping super low. The heals from the Jetpack Cat are good, but they're not good enough. The 4-on-1 in the cage, more than enough to box out Maga. VP 2-0 in style here. Alcacia, they're trying to find these cheeky little answers. They're trying to get Virtus.pro off their comfort. It is not working.
I mean, Kev gets into the sky and he just sees Vestola on the Maga just kind of sitting there on the payload, just like a target dummy, able to just kind of farm up some damage there towards the end as we take a look at some of the stats. Ice Gnome 30 and oh, that is a nasty game from the tank on VP. And then Kev, 17k damage. You look on the other side to 8, I mean 12k. That's a huge gap with those two players specifically. So Ice Gnome and Kev having a fantastic day today. And then, I mean, look, you get consistent play from everybody else. These are the type of results you're going to get. As it seemed like Katsia, even with these bans, that you would have said, hey, maybe give them a little bit of a better shot. Not really that close.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to be the team that's trying to force something awkward. You know, I really feel like the synergy here between the VP players is on point. You know, they clearly weren't rattled at all by the loss yesterday, right? That's a game 5 loss, but the veteran presence on this squad, not surprised to see them still firing on all cylinders, but just looks really clean. Like, Icenom, I think he gets like desuited one time to start like one attack fight, and the rest of the map, he is like really clean. Like the adjustment is really solid, and against Vendetta, it's not so easy to avoid that. Even Maga, like, he lands a stomp on you in Diva, you can get just desuited instantly. So definitely something to worry about now for Virtus.pro, or rather for Alcacia. They've been trying to put that pressure on, and VP look drilled.
I don't even know what you do if you're Katsia, right? You got a Lucio ban, and
I really think you got a mirror
ban.
here. I think you've tried your cheeses, and the problem is, though, it's so tough because if you came into the series this way, it's sort of obvious that you didn't feel like you could win the mirror, right? If you're trying to do these cheeses, you wouldn't do those if you thought you really had a heads-up chance, because they're not playing like a Dallas Fuel Winston on a like completely different meta type of comp. They're just trying to like change a hero or hero there and get the edge.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you go to Survas, see if they'll end up playing a Maga again, and then kind of play Azari into it and see if you can kind of bait them into what was their downfall yesterday. But doubt they would fall for it. But I think something you guys should fall for is following us on all social media platforms. Get on your social media platforms, all of them. Open up every app you possibly can. Follow Overwatch Esports everywhere. We got a lot coming up. I mean, we got obviously all the playoffs happening in Pacific. We have the culmination of EMEA and NA tomorrow. We have Champions Clash. A lot coming up for Overwatch Esports. So make sure you're kind of not missing out on anything, right? YouTube, Twitch, X, TikTok. We're everywhere now.
Even on Soup, Matt. On Soup.
We are on Soup too. Yeah, that's like the Korean Twitch. I have not opened up Soup that much because
I'll be honest, Matt. I'm not on TikTok Live all that often. I'm more of a YouTube Twitch enjoyer. But you know what?
Zoe is our social media addict of the group.
This one goes out to the good people across all platforms, man. You know, we're all in this together. It's a community effort. And speaking of community effort, Katsuya needs your energy, man. They need a lot of energy to bring this one back.
Yep.
Looking real desperate as we go to Atlas. VP, 0 mistakes. I mean, really, like, they look drilled. Every time Kevster, you know, gets somebody down low, Icenom and Psycho just pounce. And that is,
A brig
must not
and
be
a
fun to be playing
Maga
against
ban. So Katsuya gets rid of the brig here, and then Maga is the ban on the other side of things. It's quite interesting. I know we've seen both teams kind of go towards the brig, whether it be like with the Diva or the Maga, where Katsuya gets rid of their brig here. So I think this is just going to be, this is just going to be Lucio Kiri with the, I mean, maybe the Vendetta, but most likely the Tracer.
Yeah, it's an interesting map for Tracer, where typically on Flashpoint, I think Tracer is quite good. On Atlas, I still think it's pretty strong, right? Like, it should still be a decent map for Tracer. Both teams hovering Vendetta, suggesting, though, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is going to be more of that all-in, box-out style. But I think VP are going to be pretty happy to see themselves in a mirror. Taejong has got to step up here on the Vendetta. Got to find some sort of a big individual player difference. Need some kind of a hero here for Katsuya to really just get that belief back for the team.
I mean, the mirror favors, you know, Virtus Pro, right? I mean, they're fantastic at these types of comps. It's something that we don't really necessarily think would potentially be the strongest suit for Katsuya. But I think you know, Katsuya probably does realize eventually you're going to have to win in this mirror if you're going to make this a series and, you know, kind of get a reverse sweep as Taejong gets in there with some help from Vestola, and they get rid of Ice Gnome, and then he takes out Psycho. So a great start here for Katsuya.
Yeah, good moves from the team here. Katsuya, they box Icenom out of the formation, and Zarya all on her lonesome is not that strong, right? You know, the team comes and caps the point, grabs 20%, but you'd much rather be Katsuya here, grabbing this opening point control. So much to play for in this series. You can't think about those stakes now for Katsuya. It's got to just be one fight at a time. Each duel taken back to back. Just got to be focused on the game now. Can't think about any of those other concerns. They try to hold on to this first flashpoint.
Vestola just trying to hold control of this choke, right? It gives a little bit of a better sight lines, right? Able to kind of spam the choke with those Emre nades. As Gala, though, does get dangerously low on on the Katsuya side, and he ends up falling. So it's going to be 2 first kills here going in favor of Virtus Pro.
And gets flanked by Fixa there, who came in from behind, punished the opponent, Lucio. And some nice burst kills here from Kevster. He's going to flip control right back. VP are going to find themselves in the driver's seat here. Eisnon with a surprisingly faster grab, considering he died early in that first fight.
It was a flank, I believe. It was like Fixa and Psycho, the Vendetta and the Lucio kind of going together on like on the side, right? So kind of all this fighting here over the main choke. They kind of wrap all the way around to the left-hand side and kind of come through that side entrance and get right behind and take out Gala. So that's how things open up there for VP.
Aggressive move coming in here. Rushes exchanged here. Virtus Pro and Tiger continue to fight this out. Remember, Graviton Surge available for Eisnom. He sends it in here. It's going to be enough to cut down this attack from Katsuya. Might have expected that. However, trades coming in.
Alrighty, folks.
Lucio's still here to enable them. This fight is not
I am
yet, but that nade from Kevster might just seal the deal on the fight. And
going to head on out.
For Katsuya, the overtime touch, not a foregone conclusion. They do have good ults, though, if they can just get this fight started.
They're gonna try and actually.
And I will see y'all live on Twitch very, very, very shortly.
Trigger the OT, but he is so low. Nice decision there from VP to kind of charge him down. Vestola does get on the point. He is getting closer to grab. They have the beat as well. The beat is pretty good though. Connects with everybody.
Yeah, Vestola on
Talk to y'all soon. Peace.